I'm just glad people talking about rap. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, London definitely has some dope MCs that I really like. But you know, there's a lot of places with dope MCs, man.
True.
Matter of fact, Drake, you're not from London. I thought you consider yourself one of the dopest. You from Toronto.
Hey.
The best lyricists in the world, mark my words, I don't care what nobody says. Nobody can out-rap London nobody. Drake audio, wow. Just wow. Those aren't words from some random blogger or a fan in a comments section. Those are the words of Aubrey Drake Graham, the biggest artist of his generation, standing on stage in the middle of London's Wireless Festival.
It's tatted on me. This is my brother right here, a real fucking legend. When I talk about my love for London rappers, the best lyricist in the world, mark my words.
Oh shit.
I don't care what nobody says. Nobody can out-rap London. Nobody.
He didn't just say they were great. He didn't say they were influential. He said they were the best. Better than anyone in America. Better than anyone in his home country of Canada. The absolute highest level. The thing he looks up to. So, did the biggest artist on the planet just call time on American hip-hop dominance? This is way bigger than just gassing up a festival crowd. This is a statement, a move in a global chess game. And it forces us to ask a question that's been bubbling for years. Has the crown really crossed the pond for good? Let's get into it.
You run to London when you need a check balance, bro. You get me? You run. I think that's when the conversation starts to make sense.
Yes.
Let's start from there. Let's start from you lost your beef.
Setting the scene, the Wireless Festival main stage. To really get the weight of what Drake said, you have to picture the scene. This wasn't some throwaway line in an interview. This was a calculated, perfectly timed explosion during a massive 3-day takeover of the UK's biggest rap festival. So, picture it. It's the second night at Wireless in London. The theme is rap, a total switch from the R&B vibes of the first night. Drake's in his element, but he's not just there to play his hits. He's there to hold a coronation. He gives a huge chunk of his set to the UK, turning his stage into a Mount Rushmore of British rap. One by one, he brings out the titans. The Godfather, Skepta, the global streaming king, Central C, the master storyteller, Dave, the innovator, Jay Hughes. The energy is insane. This isn't just a concert. It's an alliance being forged in public. Then, he stops. He looks out at the sold-out crowd and drops that bomb. No disrespect to America. No disrespect to my country. But nobody can out-rap London rappers. This is the best. This is the highest level. And this is what I aspire to be. Let's break that down, because every word matters. No disrespect to America is the classic setup. It's what you say right before you say something wildly disrespectful. It's a direct challenge to the country that made him a superstar. Then he hits him with, nobody in the world. Not some of the best. Nobody. He created a pecking order and put London right at the top. And that last line is the knockout punch. This is what I aspire to be. For an artist who's been at the top of the game for more than a decade, one of the big three with Kendrick and J. Cole, to say he's looking up to the London scene, that's a seismic claim. It's like he's stepping down from one throne to become the kingmaker for another. This wasn't just pandering to the crowd. It was a power play, and it landed right in the middle of a fire that was already burning.
And you know what? Man never been in Finsbury when it's shut down, eh? Trust me, man.
The spark Skepta's challenge, and the friendly fire. See, Drake's bombshell at Wireless didn't come out of nowhere. He was basically pouring gasoline on a fire that Skepta had already lit a few weeks before. To get the full picture, you gotta rewind, because the whole UK versus US war was already on. Out of the blue, Skepta, a grime pioneer and a legend in his own right, went on social media and basically called for an all-out lyrical war. He posted, "I want to clash an American rapper. Finally get this UK/US rap debate sorted." He even cooked up a fantasy fight card, putting UK champs against US titans. Gets versus Eminem, Chip versus Kendrick Lamar, Dave versus Lil Wayne, and himself against $8 Rocky. Skepta's point was that this wasn't about real beef, but about the sport of rapping. the pure skill of clashing that's baked into grime and dancehall culture. He argued that UK rappers grew up studying American rappers for decades, but it's rarely been the other way around. In his mind, that gave the UK the upper hand. They already knew the other team's playbook. The American side was pretty quiet, except for guys like DJ Academics who just laughed it off, saying Kendrick alone would smoke the entire UK. But one rapper did respond, Joyner Lucas. And Skepta, being Skepta, didn't just talk. He dropped a diss track called Friendly Fire, aimed right at Joyner. On the track, he didn't just get personal. He went after the whole American rap standard, mocking what he called the overly complex, lyrical miracle style that didn't have the raw energy of the UK. The war was on. Now, flash forward to that wireless stage. With that context, Drake's statement isn't just a nice compliment anymore. It's an official cosign of Skepta's challenge. It's the world's biggest rapper jumping into an active lyrical battle, picking a side, and turning the volume up to 100. By bringing Skepta out right after saying it, Drake was basically making him the general of this new army and anointing himself as its most powerful supporter. This changes everything. It's no longer just Skepta, a UK legend, making a bold claim. It's Drake, a global icon, standing on a London stage, telling the entire world that the challenge is real and that the UK has already won.
Well, I was watching it, I was watching on YouTube. Yeah, and I just really became attached to it. I became attached to the characters. The story really drew me in, and I think there's so many parallels between Toronto and London. Obviously, we don't have the same accent.
The American reaction, sour grapes, or a legitimate threat. As soon as that clip of Drake went viral, the reaction from the US was fast, it was harsh, and it was pretty much all saying the same thing, sour grapes. You just can't separate this from what went down a few months earlier. The whole world watched Drake get into one of the nastiest rap battles in recent memory with Kendrick Lamar. And let's be real, by almost every measure, Drake took a major L. Kendrick's diss, Not Like Us, wasn't just a song, it was a cultural reset. It hit #1, won Grammys, and Kendrick performed it 5 times in a row at his massive pop-out Victory Lap concert in LA. The beef completely changed how people see both of them. So, to a lot of US fans, Drake suddenly screaming from the rooftops about London lyricists felt less like a genuine opinion and more like a slick business move. The thinking goes like this. If you just got beat in your own backyard, why not just change the game? Move the goalpost to a new continent, crown a new scene as the best, and make yourself their biggest supporter. It's a way of saying, yeah, you won the American battle, but I'm playing a global game you're not even in. People like Charlemagne the God immediately called it pandering, joking that even the London crowd didn't really believe him. The online hate was even more direct. Kendrick would smoke any UK rapper was everywhere. Fans saw it as a weak attempt to change the subject and rally a new fan base. During the show itself, when the crowd started chanting of Kendrick, Drake didn't stop them. He just smiled, took out his in-ears, and ordered a shot saying, "I'll drink to that." For many, that sealed it. This was all tied to his beef with Kendrick. But let's play devil's advocate. Is it possible there's more to it? For years, a lot of hip-hop heads have been complaining that lyricism in mainstream American rap is falling off, with more focus on melodies and viral moments. Drake specifically shouted out lyricists, tapping right into that debate. Could it be that Drake, feeling burned by the US scene, genuinely finds more inspiration in the raw, competitive, bar-for-bar culture of UK grime and drill? You can't totally rule it out, even if the timing looks incredibly convenient. Whether it's a shot at his enemies or his real artistic opinion, the statement worked. It lit a fire under a debate about whether American rap is still the undisputed king.
I think every time I say I'm about to do something, people are waiting for me to fumble. That's probably one of the biggest motivations behind a lot of my raps is the amount of people that want me to fall or whatever. I think that should be the motivation for most rappers, you know. The further you climb towards the top, the more hands you have on your pant leg dragging you to the bottom. They just start tugging at you, but, you know.
The UK reaction applied validation, and we told you so. Over in the UK, the reaction was the complete opposite. This wasn't sour grapes, this was the ultimate validation. It was the "we told you so" moment they had been waiting decades for. delivered by the biggest artist in the game. For years, UK rap has been in a weird spot. It's huge and culturally dominant at home, but has always struggled to really break America, where it was often treated like a novelty. Artists like Skepta and Stormzy sell out stadiums in the UK, but haven't gotten that same love in the US. Drake's cosign changes that. He's not some random observer. He has a long, real history with UK culture. This isn't a new bandwagon for him. He produced Top Boy, bringing London street life to the world. He was an early supporter of artists like Giggs. He signed Skepta to his BBK label. He's collaborated with Georgia Smith and has a massive global hit with Central C. That history gives his words credibility. It's not just pandering when you've got a decade of receipts to back it up. For UK fans, it felt like the world was finally catching on to what they knew all along. They're seen as some of the most skilled and creative MCs on the planet. The celebration online was huge. It sparked this massive wave of national pride. The UK versus US debate suddenly wasn't just for forums anymore. It was a real conversation, and they had the biggest voice in music on their side. It felt less like an underdog story, and more like a title fight where their guy just showed up with a heavyweight champion in his corner. Drake didn't just give them a compliment, he handed them a crown, and they were happy to put it on.
The album is my attempt at retracing all the steps in a way more vivid manner than I have in the past. Best way I could describe it is, it's like I was like, this kid from Toronto who just wanted it all so bad, and then, whenever I'm describing it to someone, I'm like, fast forward to now.
The great debate, who really has the better rappers? Alright, so let's really get into it. This is the core of the whole thing. When Drake makes a claim this big, you have to stack the artists up. Who really has the better rappers? Obviously, this is subjective, like arguing about who's the GOAT in basketball. But we can break down the arguments. First, the case for Team USA. It's built on legacy, variety, and just pure numbers. Hip-hop was born in the Bronx. The Mount Rushmore of lyricists, from Rakim and Biggie to Eminem and Jay-Z, is American. The US scene is massive, with dozens of different sounds. The top tier today shows that range. You've got Kendrick Lamar, pretty much seen as the best storyteller and conceptual artist of our time. You've got J. Cole, a master of relatable bars. You have artists like Tyler, the creator pushing boundaries, and superstars like Travis Scott changing the whole sound of rap. The bench is deep. If we're talking cultural impact and history, the US case is rock solid. Now, for the UK, the side Drake is championing, their argument is less about history and more about a current focus on pure rapping ability. With its roots in the fast, competitive world of grime, UK rap has arguably kept a tighter focus on technical skill, crazy rhyme schemes, multi-syllable bars, and clever wordplay. And they have their own titans making a strong case on the world stage. The most common matchup people talk about is Dave versus Kendrick Lamar. With his album Psychodrama, Dave delivered something so brilliant and personal that it got him compared to Kendrick's work on Good Kid, M.A.D. City. His storytelling on a track like Leslie is just on another level. Then you have Central C, who's become a global monster, the first UK rapper to hit 1 billion Spotify streams, doing numbers that past UK artists could only dream of. And of course, you can't forget legends like Skepta or superstars like Stormzy, who mix stadium anthems with powerful, conscious lyrics. So, let's ask the real questions. Is Dave's storytelling on par with Kendrick's? A lot of fans will passionately argue yes. Can Stormzy's cultural impact in the UK be compared to what Jay-Z means to America in their own countries? You could definitely make that case. Ultimately, it might just come down to what you value more. Are you looking at the whole body of work and cultural footprint, where the US has the clear historical edge? Or are you, like Drake claims to be, focused on who has the sharpest, most technical bars right now? If it's the latter, the UK's top tier has a very, very strong case.
I think the details of my background kind of came afterwards. I think what caught first was the music. And I think what became almost more appealing was like, this is the guy that I remember those moments from people like, wait.
Broader implications: the shifting global landscape of hip-hop. Putting the beef and the comparisons aside for a second, Drake's statement points to a bigger truth. Hip-hop is not what it used to be. For decades, it was a one-way street. America made it, and the rest of the world bought it. Artists from other countries had to copy American styles to get noticed. That era is officially dead. We're now in a world where hip-hop is global. You have incredible, unique scenes popping off everywhere, from France to Nigeria. But you could argue no scene outside of America has built an identity as strong as the UK. The rise of streaming changed everything. Artists don't need a stamp of approval from American radio to go global anymore. Central C is the perfect example. He blew up on TikTok and Spotify, with his tracks going viral in places that never cared about UK rap before. He didn't have to change his sound or lose his accent. In fact, his London identity is a huge part of his appeal. He's now the first UK rapper to make XXL's freshman class, a huge deal that signals the walls are coming down. His success, plus the love for artists like Dave and Little Sims, proves the UK is now a global exporter of hip-hop. So you can see Drake's statement as him just recognizing reality. As a Canadian artist himself, he's always been a bit of an outsider to the US system, so he can see this global shift clearly. He gets that hip-hop is a global language with powerful local dialects now. This whole UK versus US thing isn't just a petty fight. It's a sign that power is shifting. It's a sign that the empire isn't the only game in town anymore. Its kids grew up, found their own voices, and are now building empires of their own.
You can call it a leftover. It was definitely on the album. I know Hit Boy is gonna watch this interview and be like, it was definitely on the album. I'm not a just throw it together kind of guy. And I had 2 different hooks on there. I didn't like either of them. I just started sending it around.
So, where does that leave us? With a few choice words, Drake pulled off a masterclass in starting trouble. His speech at Wireless was one part genuine praise for a scene he's loved for years, one part a strategic jab after a very public loss, and one part a grenade thrown right into the middle of the hip-hop world. And it's forced a conversation that we needed to have. There's no easy answer here. There's no scorecard to decide a winner. The best part of all this is the debate itself. It's a sign that the culture is healthy, global, and competitive. It pushes artists on both sides to be better. But now I've got to throw it to you. This is the biggest debate in hip-hop right now, and I need to know where you stand. Was Drake just gassing up the London crowd and taking a shot at his American rivals? Or was he spitting facts? Has London really surpassed the US when it comes to pure, technical rapping? Who do you think has the better rappers, the US or the UK? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to see the lists. I want to see the arguments. And I'm going to be reading and replying to as many as I can. If you like this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching.